What if your tattoos get you turned away from a hot spring, or your kind gesture of leaving a tip could get you chased down the street? Japan, a land of breathtaking beauty and fascinating contrasts, is also home to some of the most unexpected cultural taboos. Brought to you by Eagle Discovery, from avoiding physical contact to sacred places that women are not allowed to enter, and even number taboos. Each rule tells a story that is both mysterious and can make you feel extremely awkward. Stick around as we uncover 15 surprising taboos you'll want to know before you visit Japan. The sixth thing may shock you. 1. Tattoos at hot springs. You're in Japan, eager to unwind in a traditional hot spring, only to realize that your tattoos could be an issue. Tattoos, or irizumi, have long been associated with organized crime in Japan, particularly the Yakuza. As a result, many establishments, including hot springs, gyms, and public baths, onsen, have historically banned customers with visible tattoos. This taboo has been ingrained in the culture for generations. However, with the evolving mindset of younger Japanese people, attitudes towards tattoos are beginning to change. Some hot springs now offer tattoo-friendly facilities, or even provide tattoo covers to ensure you can still enjoy your experience. There are also specific onsen that cater to foreigners and those with tattoos, especially in areas with higher international tourism. As tattoos become more mainstream worldwide, it's essential to research your destination before visiting, ensuring you choose establishments that are accepting of tattoos. It's a simple step to avoid potential embarrassment or inconvenience. 2. Tipping is not welcome. In Japan, tipping is not only unnecessary, but it is often seen as an insult. The practice of tipping is virtually non-existent, and in fact, it may be considered disrespectful. This cultural norm stems from a deep-rooted belief in the value of professionalism. In Japan, service is seen as an inherent part of the job, and workers are expected to do their best without the expectation of additional rewards. Tipping can imply that the service wasn't up to standard, which undermines the pride Japanese workers take in their craftsmanship. If you wish to show appreciation, a simple gesture such as giving a small gift or a thank you note is often more appreciated. A traditional Japanese gesture of gratitude involves the art of origami, folded paper cranes or flowers, for example, representing respect and thoughtfulness. 3. Rice and food etiquette. In Japan, rice is more than just a food item. It holds a symbolic and spiritual significance. It is often viewed as a sacred offering, and mishandling or disrespecting rice is frowned upon. A common practice in Japanese dining is never to place other foods on top of rice. Mixing rice with certain ingredients or using rice as a base for other foods is considered a disruption to the meal's balance and harmony. For example, it is not uncommon for guests at traditional meals to be served rice as a side, ensuring that its purity is maintained. While younger generations may be more relaxed about this etiquette, it remains a good idea to observe this practice when dining in more traditional settings, as it reflects a profound respect for the meal and the care that went into its preparation. 4. Personal space and physical contact. In Japan, personal space is highly valued, and physical contact, especially with strangers, is generally avoided. Simple gestures such as handshakes or pats on the back can feel intrusive, as many people in Japan prefer to maintain a respectful distance from others. The traditional greeting in Japan is the bow, a practice that varies in depth depending on the situation, such as a slight bow for casual greetings or a deeper bow to show deep respect. Unlike in many Western countries, public displays of affection are rare, even among couples. Holding hands in public is common, but kissing or hugging in public is considered inappropriate in most social contexts. When interacting with others, a polite bow accompanied by a smile is often the most suitable way to express respect and kindness. 5. Sacred sites and gender restrictions. Japan's sacred sites and religious practices have deep historical roots, and some of them include gender-specific rules that can seem unusual to visitors. For instance, Mount Omine in Nara is a place of pilgrimage that imposes restrictions on women. Women are not permitted to enter the sacred mountain, and even male visitors must undergo a ritual purification process before stepping onto the site. Gender roles also play a significant part in traditional Japanese sports such as sumo. Women are not allowed to participate in sumo wrestling or to step onto the sumo ring, which is considered sacred ground. These rules, although still observed in some areas, are gradually being challenged as societal attitudes shift, particularly among younger generations. Despite these evolving norms, it's important to be aware of the cultural sensitivities surrounding sacred sites in Japan and show respect for the long-standing traditions that govern them. 6. Superstition, numbers and gifts. Superstitions play a significant role in Japanese culture, with certain numbers and gifts carrying symbolic meanings. The number 4, shi, is associated with death, as it shares the same pronunciation as the word for death. For this reason, many buildings avoid using the number 4 for floor numbering, and it is rare to find hotel room numbers that include the number 49, which is linked to suffering. Similarly, the number 9, ku, is considered unlucky because it is phonetically associated with pain and hardship. When it comes to gift giving, it's important to be mindful of the symbolism of certain items. Flowers such as chrysanthemums, which are often used in funeral arrangements, are not appropriate for celebratory occasions. Practical gifts such as food, alcohol, or souvenirs are safer options, but it's essential to avoid wrapping them in mourning colors like black or white. The custom of giving gifts is an important part of Japanese culture, and ensuring that your gift is thoughtful and appropriate will help to convey your respect. 7. Sitting posture matters. Proper sitting posture is an important aspect of Japanese culture, especially in formal settings. For example, sitting cross-legged is generally seen as too casual and is not preferred in traditional contexts. The recommended posture in such situations is seiza, which involves sitting on your knees with your back straight and your hands placed on your thighs. This posture is a symbol of respect and formality and is often expected during formal meals, meetings, or ceremonies. While this practice can be physically demanding, especially for people not accustomed to it, it is a key part of showing respect to others in Japanese society. Visitors to Japan may find that learning how to sit in seiza will help them navigate social situations more gracefully, particularly when invited to participate in traditional events or ceremonies. 8. Public transportation etiquette. In Japan, public transportation is a cornerstone of daily life, and it's important to understand the etiquette that comes with using it. Offering your seat to an elderly person, although a kind gesture, may not always be received well. Some people, especially the elderly, may prefer to stand rather than accept a seat, as standing can feel more comfortable or culturally appropriate to them. The designated priority seats are clearly marked and should be vacated for those who need them, such as elderly passengers, pregnant women, and people with disabilities. However, if these seats are occupied, passengers should remain standing and not attempt to offer their seat unless it's clear the person in need is uncomfortable. Additionally, maintaining quietness on public transportation is key. Loud conversations, phone calls, or music can disturb other passengers. Many people use their commute time to relax or nap, making it important to respect personal space and maintain a calm environment. 9. Smoking rules in Japan. Japan has some of the strictest smoking regulations in the world, yet navigating the rules can sometimes be confusing. Smoking is prohibited in many public spaces, including parks, near entrances to buildings, and in public squares. However, there are designated smoking areas where people can enjoy a cigarette without violating the rules. Indoor smoking areas, such as those in restaurants or bars, are generally well ventilated and separate from non-smoking areas. Some public spaces, like train stations and airports, have smoking rooms specifically designed for smokers. Outdoors, designated smoking zones are common in urban areas, but you should always keep an eye out for signs indicating whether smoking is allowed. Being mindful of where you smoke, as well as being considerate of others, helps maintain harmony and cleanliness in public spaces. 10. Karoshi, death by overwork. Karoshi, guo lao si, refers to death caused by overwork, and it has tragically become a significant issue in Japan's corporate culture. This phenomenon is linked to the country's intense work ethic, where employees often put in grueling hours, sometimes exceeding 80 hours of overtime per month. Karoshi is not limited to physical exhaustion alone, but is also associated with mental health issues such as stress and depression. Despite some reforms and government efforts to address this issue, like limiting overtime work and promoting mental health initiatives, the pressure to work long hours persists due to social expectations. Workers are often hesitant to take time off for fear of being seen as less dedicated. The issue of karoshi highlights the need for a better work-life balance in Japan, and it's an ongoing conversation in both government and workplace settings. 11. Removing shoes before entering homes. One of the most iconic traditions in Japan is the practice of removing shoes before entering a home or certain indoor spaces, like temples, schools, and some restaurants. This custom is based on a deep cultural value of cleanliness and respect for the home environment. Tatami mats, which are common in many traditional Japanese homes, are particularly sensitive to dirt, and removing shoes helps maintain their condition. It's also a sign of respect to the homeowner, as it keeps the space clean for everyone who uses it. In bathrooms, there are typically separate slippers provided for use to ensure hygiene is maintained, so guests are expected to change into these slippers when entering the restroom. The same custom applies in ryokan, traditional inns, and many public baths, where visitors must remove their shoes before entering communal spaces. 12. Eating while walking a taboo? In Japan, eating while walking or in public spaces is generally considered impolite. This custom stems from the cultural emphasis on mindfulness and respect for others. Eating is seen as a personal and sacred act that deserves focused attention, rather than something to be done while rushing or moving around. The idea is to avoid making a mess in public and to maintain an air of decorum. Additionally, consuming food on the go is seen as disrespectful to the food itself, as it's not given the proper attention it deserves. While eating in public is discouraged, there are places such as designated food courts, cafes, and parks where people are welcome to enjoy their meals. If you're in a busy area, it's best to find a quiet spot to sit down and enjoy your food with respect. 13. Chopsticks Etiquette. Chopsticks play an integral role in Japanese culture, and there are specific rules to follow to avoid causing offense. For example, never pass food from one set of chopsticks directly to another, as this mirrors a funeral tradition where family members pass bones between chopsticks after cremation. Similarly, sticking chopsticks upright into a bowl of rice is considered highly inappropriate, as this resembles a funeral ritual where incense is placed in a bowl of rice. Another important rule is never to use chopsticks to spear or stab food, which can be seen as a sign of disrespect. Instead, chopsticks should be used to gently lift food. When not in use, chopsticks should be placed neatly on a chopstick rest or parallel to the edge of the table, not sticking out or laying across the bowl. 14. Disposing of dolls a taboo. In Japan, dolls are considered to hold the spirit of their owner, and discarding a doll, especially a human-like one, is seen as a culturally sensitive act. Throwing a doll away without properly acknowledging its significance is believed to bring bad luck. The act of discarding a doll can be seen as an insult to the spirit the doll is thought to embody. To honor the doll and show respect, many people take old dolls to Shinto shrines or Buddhist temples for purification rituals. These ceremonies are meant to ensure the spirit of the doll is peacefully released. In some cases, people will hold small ceremonies at home to express gratitude to the doll before disposing of it. This practice is a reflection of the deep respect for objects and their sentimental value in Japanese culture. 15. Whistling at night a warning. Whistling at night in Japan is considered a taboo, and it is often believed to invite bad spirits or supernatural occurrences. In rural areas, it is said that whistling could attract snakes or other dangerous creatures. On a more spiritual level, whistling at night is thought to call upon spirits from the afterlife, which could cause misfortune. The superstition has a long history and is rooted in Japanese beliefs about the unseen world, where actions like whistling, especially after dark, are viewed as dangerous or disrespectful. For these reasons, people tend to avoid making noise at night, particularly whistling, as it could be interpreted as inviting bad luck or disturbance. Japan's cultural taboos. As we wrap up our journey through Japan's fascinating taboos, which of these surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more cultural deep dives into the world's most intriguing destinations.